better to join us than my man, Barrett Brooks from NBC Sports Philadelphia. Barrett, what's going on, my brother?
I'm great, man. I'm in the Ricky room. It's clean in here. No fifths in here, no cigarette butts, no snuff cups everywhere. It's great. Only thing he had, hey.
Yeah, Ricky
left me a present, He left me a present.
Oh, he did? What did he leave you?
A bat.
There we go. Ricky Bo's on vacation this week.
I know. That's what I'm saying. So, I can't get on vacation. It's my time of the year. It's Eagles, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
It is Eagles. And that's what I want to start off with asking you about. You played a lot of week ones in the NFL. Is it about style points in week one, or is it about just getting that W under your belt?
It was a lot different from when I played because we had 4 preseason games, and we played in the preseason when you were a starter. These are different here, but, just from going by what I've seen from the Eagles thus far for the last 4 years, the starters not playing in the preseason, but going out that first game. And, I think that, once I looked at the rest of the league and then went back and watched the Eagles did pretty well. They did pretty well, playing without their best player, not playing in the preseason, and them going out and really showing that, hey, my quarterback is the best quarterback. That's what I'm saying. MVP. Let's go, baby. MVP. Jalen Hurts. But, he showed that he can take command of the team. You can't stop him if he didn't want to be stopped. This offense is going to be pretty good. The defense is a lot better than we were last year. We're going to be all right. We're going to be all right.
I got a lot of questions for you on defense, but I got one more for you on the offensive side of the football. This is your wheelhouse, too. Offensive line. How do you think Tyler Steen looked as the starting right guard?
It's like he started all last year. He had a phenomenal game. He showed presence out there. He wasn't just in there filling in. He showed that I wanted a position. He was, very, very explosive out there. He put his hands on people. He was moving people. He looked like a day one starter, like he should have been there last year. I was totally impressed on Tyler Steen and how he approached this game. Kudos to, Coach Stoutland making sure he's ready to play. And I tell you what, I had rave reviews for him all through the post game, the other night, and just the way he played. So big ups to him going out there and really showing and imposing his will on that offense as an offensive lineman.
Yeah, that's great to hear, man. That is great to hear. All right, let's talk about the defense because I think coming into the season, most of the question marks we had were on the defensive side of the football, and I'm not sure a lot of them were necessarily answered just yet. Let's look at that cornerback position.
Ooh.
Not the greatest of games for Adoree Jackson, but we heard from Vic Fangio today he's going to start again. What are you seeing at that other cornerback position opposite Quinyon?
Bennett's got to be ready to go. Whoever's going to be in there as a starter's got to, you got to, understand that they're going to game plan and try to attack you. And I thought that they could kind of, put him somewhere and they could hide him just a little bit. No, they had nowhere to hide. He was out there. He had to go out there and make plays. And as the game went on, he did settle down a little bit. But you can't come out and play like that. There's too many great players in the league, especially best receivers in the league, going to make sure that offensive coordinators put them on him. So he's got to play better. He's got to step up, and he knew that he didn't play as well as he should have. That's why he gave himself a C. I'd have gave him a D, at least a D+, because at this point, you can't have Super Bowl aspirations when you're going out and playing like that. He's got to play tight. He has to be more confident, and he's too old of a player not to have that confidence going in there. It didn't matter for me if I was a backup or not. When I went up there, when I was out there on that field, I felt as though I was a starter, and I played like a starter. I didn't see that from him. He's got to step it up this game.
Yeah, we're talking the Super Bowl champ, my man Barrett Brooks from NBC Sports Philadelphia. Another question on that defense coming into the season was, do they have enough depth at the edge rusher position? And then on Friday, Howie Roseman goes out and signs veteran edge rusher Zadarius Smith. What are your thoughts about that move?
Well, they got a finisher. Zadarius Smith, he's a guy that's going to come in and finish the play. And if you watch the game, and as I watched it again, like I always do, we had a bunch of almost. When BJ first started his career, he was an almost guy. He would almost get to the quarterback until he learned how to be a finisher. Then he started sacking the quarterback. Well, both our guys were almost at the quarterback. They got great pressure on him. They made Dak Prescott very uncomfortable, but they almost got to him, allowed him to get out and elongate the play a little bit. He's got to make sure that he's a finisher, and these guys got to learn from him how to be a finisher. So I think that's the biggest thing. These guys can rush the passer. Nolan Smith can rush the passer. Hunt can rush the passer. Smith definitely can rush the passer. And maybe they get a couple tips from him and kind of solidify those. Who's going to be the guy that's going to be there to really get them going in one direction, and the other guy's got to finish it. They got to hunt. One guy lures them in, the other guy finishes the deal. They've got to do this going forward. So he's definitely going to be a guy that can do that. He can play every down, too, because he's a bigger guy. That's what I think they needed anyway. They needed a bigger guy, 6'4", 275-pound guy like him. Hunt was the biggest guy they really had there to really, set the edge, push things back in, and really impose his will. He can do that for them. So I think this kind of completes what they needed from that defensive end position.
And I think Jalen Carter in the middle of that defense would certainly help the edge rushers a little bit. We just got the breaking news that Jalen Carter will only be fined, not suspended. You think that was the right call?
He's already suspended. He already got suspended. This game was a suspension for him. So he set out this game, so he was suspended this game. So they're going forward, they're just going to fine him. So I'm glad, you know what I mean? Because I want all horses available to play against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, they're going to need Jalen Carter for sure. All right, let's look at another question on that defense, which was the safety position. Drew Mukuba, rookie, played close to 90% of the snaps. I thought he played well, but then I heard Fangio today say, you know what, there was a couple of busts that he needs to correct. What'd you see in Drew Mukuba?
I think he played pretty good also. And, I mean, of course, coach is going to be like that. He's going to say he's going to have busts. You know, that's one thing about Coach Fangio. He wants perfection, and he wants those guys to learn the game. And he's going to learn the game, and he's going to have some assignment busts because he hasn't seen and been in this defense long enough to really have it down pat like Blankenship. But he's going to be a phenomenal player. I'm really surprised they started him. I thought they were going to start Brown, but, you know, Brown was a little mad about that. But, you know, hey, you know, that's what you want. You want that competitive competition. Mukuba played well. I mean, very, very well. In fact, you know, him and the rookie Campbell played well together. They made a lot of plays together.
Yeah, they certainly did. And look, this week against the Chiefs, it's crazy to say this, but they don't have anywhere near the same firepower that the Dallas Cowboys had on the outside with George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. I mean, how do you think this defense is going to fare against Kansas City Chiefs this week?
Well, I think they're going to do pretty well as long as they go out there with the same type of game plan and heating, Patrick Mahomes up. They're going to have to get pass rush on them. And they got to understand this, too. Just because you don't get there doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to influence the play. Get your hands up. He's one of those guys, 1, 2, 3, get the ball out. He reads things before it happens. So that's what he wants to do, get the ball to his weapons very, very fast. So they're going to have to play with their hands, get their hands up. And really, it's almost like they're going to have to bull rush, pass rush, we call it mush rush, to keep him inside the pocket, get your hands up, and making sure he has to bring the ball down, adjust, and move around a little bit. But do they have the players to do that? I really think they do, especially how they played in the Super Bowl. This is a new game. We're going to have our horse back and Carter being in the middle of that defense, so that's going to give him pressure up the middle. And I'll tell you what, nobody's talking about it, but Davis had a phenomenal game plan. He balled his butt off. He really showed me something this last game. He's an ever-down player now. He's no longer just a nose. He rushed the passes just as good as anybody in the interior in the NFL this year, you know. I mean, I was definitely surprised on how good he looked and how explosive he looked as far as rushing the passer. He could have had a couple sacks. He was almost there. And like I said, they got to finish more. But, man, Davis played a great game this last game.
Yeah, he really did, man. He played like close to 90% of the snaps. And in week one, that's not easy. You're not even in full game shape yet.
Absolutely.
And this guy came in and performed. All right, I got one more thing for you, not Eagles related. So one of the first times you and I ever met, I was doing my podcast. You were nice to come on.
Loved it, man. Loved it, man. You've been my boy ever since then.
Yeah, you're my buddy. And we were talking about Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, and you weren't happy about them stealing signals or whatever they were. So I got to ask you about this whole situation now between Belichick and New England, and he's not allowing the Patriots at the North Carolina facility. I mean, you got to be loving this a little bit.
Man, come on now. I mean, first of all, they get a divorce, and then they want to come back and, say, all right, maybe you give me another chance. No, Belichick's like, no. Plus, I don't know, man. He's getting run by, the missus. Said, no, you better not let them back in. I guess he's listening to her, a young mind, thinking that. But I don't know, man. Coach Belichick, me personally, I'd have just left it alone, man. I'd have just, flew off into the sunset. Instead, he wants to come back and coach. I guess he can't get it out of his system. But I tell you what, him not letting them come in, to me, that's like almost a travesty, especially with the guys that you've had and mentored and been in their lives for this long. I don't know if I'd have did that, but I don't think it's
petty,
cool.
Man.
I don't think it's cool at all, man.
Yeah, it's petty. You still calling any college games this year or no?
Oh, yeah, well, I just did Cal Poly at Utah. This weekend, I'll be Navy. I got Navy at in Tulsa.
Awesome, my man. Well, I'll be listening. I appreciate the time, Barrett. I'll talk to you soon.
Man, I thank you, man. And tell Rick, man, when he does get back, thanks for having a clean room for me. I appreciate it.
God knows when he's getting back. Vacation. What's going on here?
I mean, who takes vacation in the middle of football season?
We got to talk to the Fanatic and NBC.
All right, bro.
All right, I appreciate it, Barrett.
Yes, sir.
There he is, Barrett Brooks, Super Bowl champ, does a great job with the Eagles on NBC Sports Philadelphia, joining us. What's up, everybody? It's Bill Colarulo from Unfiltered with Ricky Bo and Bill Colarulo. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel because we post a ton of content. It's not just what you hear on air. We're posting content all day long. We do some things before the show, after the show, even stuff during the show. So subscribe, like, do whatever you got to do. We got all this content coming to you every single day.